Hi, so today I'm going to improvise something really sentimental, sweet, gooey, nostalgic. I think I want to face the demons, face the gremlins in my head that keep telling me to, be cool and do stuff that's, that isn't, so self-indulgent maybe. To be honest, I feel I have a tendency to fall into something pretty sort of sterile when I do that. So, as I try to, confidently express what I honestly feel, I think this is something that I love. I always loved Rachmaninoff and Debussy and classical composers, Poulenc. I love classical composers that explore the kind of tonality that is very rich and chromatic and beautiful. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll start off by coming up with an idea. I'll improvise something, and as long as it's okay, that might be the basis of what I do. So yeah, just some basic harmonic progression, something like this. Let's try this. Yeah, I like that. That's the kind of thing. So, a bit understated there. I'm going to kind of obviously play into it. I think what I'll do first is I'll just write out the chords to show you the chords, because that could be interesting. So I'll do that first. Okay, so these are the chords. I'll play them. I could name them. I quite like naming chords, but I can't resist giving them sort of alternative names. These sort of chords are quite complex, and they can have different names. So I'll tell you what I think the kind of basic, or I call blocks, the basic roots are. So the first one, that's an A flat. It's built on the A flat root. No, that one's funny. It's built on the G. The root is in the bass. It's like the falling roots thing was kind of, it happened very naturally. I like that. So it's kind of a G minor-y kind of thing. Obviously that's F sharp minor. There's a lot of E in there, isn't it? But it's F sharp minor. That's very augmented, a very augmented sound, very whole tony, with an F in the bass. So it's still a kind of F block. E minor, and then this one, yeah, it's a bit of a funny one. It's kind of a bit diminished, but again, E flat, because the roots are all out. So the roots are all in the bass. It's that kind of falling roots that's very satisfying, very nice. It kind of sinks down and like a feather bed sort of feeling. So those are the actual harmonies. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sort of flesh that out and try and create something like an idea or a theme out of it that I can then variate. So I'll do that now. Okay, so this is the theme that I've come up with, based on those chords, based on very similar to what I played, which I'd recorded, obviously. A bit more sort of strengthened, I suppose, to make it more thematic, but mostly really just improvising, being with the idea, trying to come up with something that's very thematic. And yeah, this is what I've come up with. So that's my theme. That's what I'll kind of use to kind of help glue everything together and make it feel coherent. Having a theme is useful. I don't always do that when I share these videos, but I think more and more I kind of should, because it means that the music is kind of more finished, rather than just kind of a bit meandering, wandering about, which can happen when you improvise. Which improvising is what I love to do, and I like sharing off, completely off the cuff improvising, even completely without any groove or anything. I enjoy doing that, but this is a bit more kind of coherent. And we're going to have a groove, like you're mentioning the groove. I like the feeling of playing with a nice warm bass. Obviously, because I'm not using actual living human beings playing drums and bass, I have to keep it kind of very subtle. So the bass is a very retro analog, warm, soft, slightly punchy bass. And then the drums, I like these kind of crunchy, slightly crunchy hip hop style samples that, yeah, very simple, just very, it sits with the piano, supports it. And the piano does the whole, you know, the whole solo thing throughout. So this is the groove I'm going to use. Okay, so I'm going to improvise on that. Before I actually post the video, I will do some dropouts and some fills maybe in the drums and the bass so that it adds some shape, adds some, sense of like structure to the whole thing. What I'm actually playing to is just literally a loop, but you won't hear that in the final result. You'll have a little bit more light and shade in the drums. So, which again is something that I'm going to try and make sure I do rather than just lazily post an improvisation. I'm going to try and be a little bit more polished in what I'm putting out. So yeah, here it is. I'm going to improvise on this idea.